All right, welcome to another Friday night episode of Keto Rocks Radio. I'm Jim Hobbs, and down below is my carnivore co-host, Brian Damage Forsythe of Kix and Rhino Bucket. And he's coming to us from a different location tonight. He's locked himself into his practice room until he gets all the songs down needed for this weekend at the Monsters on the Mountain shows, back-to-back shows you have, right, Brian?
Yeah, well, Friday is Kix and Saturday is Rhino Bucket.
Wow. Now you guys, you drive. That's in Tennessee, or so are you driving there, or you got? Is it?
Yeah. It's like a 3.5 hour drive, I think, altogether.
That's not bad.
Nah, and to take a flight there's no direct flight, so there's no direct flight, so it would take me like 7 to 9 hours to get there to Knoxville, and then drive an hour from there. So it's like got my just drive.
That makes no sense. Now, is your bandmates caravan with you? Are they or you?
Oh, the Rhino guys. Yeah, they have a car. Well, I think they're gonna come down on Friday. I'm leaving on Thursday because I always go the day before, but which is would have been yesterday. Airs.
I know we got to go back to the future to get caught up, so I get it.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, we have another special guest joining us who's back. She's been a guest on our show before, but she's just celebrated a big hurdle, and so we welcomed her back. And so please welcome back to the show, Kristen Durham now you're in Alabama, correct, Kristen?
Yes, Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville.
All right. Are you sorry about your Alabama team this past weekend?
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That was crazy, but maybe it'll, the saying is here in Huntsville that or I guess in the whole state of Alabama, rooting for Alabama to win is like rooting for the sun to rise. Like, it's going to happen. But unfortunately,
and when it doesn't, you don't know what to do. Like, what's going on?
Right. But the joke has been, well, now I know what it's like to be an Auburn fan.
Oh,
I have huge rivalries, Alabama and Auburn. You're one or the other. You can't be both.
Yeah, so, I have close friends and born in from Alabama, and then you can't pull them away from rooting for Alabama, and it's definitely their burgundy blood they bleed.
Oh yeah. I'm just all about the food. Invite me to a football party and have me some meat and I'll be good to go. I don't care who I'm supposed to root for.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, look, I saw in your post recently that you celebrated your 1,000 days, I guess, of being on keto carnivore.
Well, on my whole journey, it was 1,000 days. October 1st was 1,000 days, but I began doing Whole30, which is eliminating all inflammatory foods.
Right.
And I eliminated all forms of sugar, grains, legumes, soy, dairy, like nitrates, all that stuff I did that for about a year. And then I slowly transitioned, like I still kept that there, but then just went all carnivore and intermittent fasting. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing. But I do have to say, for anybody who is curious, that has not started anything, that has just doesn't feel good, that is a good way to ease your way into being carnivore or keto, is eliminating that stuff. Because within 1 week, my body felt 100% different. Like I would get up in the mornings and have to stand beside my bed before I could take a step, because I couldn't feel my feet. And not that many people knew that. I didn't go to the doctor because I was scared to death. They were going to tell me I was a diabetic. And my knees hurt so bad going up and down the stairs. I would have to do 2 feet on each step going down. But honest to God, after that first week, I was like up and down, zero pain.
Wow.
That week, I was like, I'm never going back. And that's my motto, is never going back. I will never put any of those foods in my body again, ever. I just can't. But I have felt better since I've been carnivore without all the vegetables and fruit. And because like on Whole30, you could still do fruit, but I just feel even better now than what I never remember feeling this well, never in my whole life.
Wow.
So very thankful that I had friends that said, hey, we're doing this. And I did it as a group, and it stuck. It 100% stuck. So yes.
I know you're not supposed to ask a woman this question, but since we're on Zoom, I don't think your arms are long enough to smack me. So before you started your Whole30 journey, what was your weight?
290.
290. Okay. And what's your weight today here in 2021? Wow.
Yeah.
You lost 2 of you.
I did. 177 pounds, if I'm doing the math right.
Yeah, you've gone from triplets to just you.
Right.
I mean, that's awesome. Now, and I asked you that question for a reason, because so many times I hear for so many people, especially in their 30s and 40s and 50s, complain about how their knees are killing them or their back's killing them, and then especially their knees. And it's usually from people who are addicted to sugar and have put on pounds. I know for me, when I was in high school, I was very athletic. It wasn't until my 20s where I started to get introduced to complex carbohydrates, aka beer. And then I started to put on the midsection bulge, and got a little bit of a beer belly. But then all of a sudden, going into my later 20s and into my 30s, my appetite didn't subside, but my waistline kept getting bigger. And I realized then I couldn't burn those calories off, or my metabolism wasn't as high as it was back when I was in high school, college.
Right.
And I started to have issues as well. I know so many people who really start to complain about their knees, and they've added weight on themselves, but the inflammation is more importantly what's causing them issues. And when you're trying to get them to feel better without having to go to the doctor and get a knee replacement or get on a drug because they're a diabetic or pre-diabetic, it's just doing what you said, eliminating the foods that are causing the inflammation in your body. It's amazing how quickly that pain just goes away.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy fast.
And I was thinking about your situation. So you had an incident, and I hope you don't mind sharing it, but 3 years ago you had an incident where you broke your is it your ankle, your leg, your foot? What?
I broke my 5th metatarsal in half.
Ugh. Now, how did that happen?
I was going upstairs and my foot got caught on the the entry mat, and I landed straight on the side. So yeah, I was at a much heavier weight, and it didn't heal. It did not heal. And it wasn't until recently that I sought a second opinion and found out why. And then he redid the surgery and got a bone graft, and hopefully I'm on the way to a new foot. So we'll see.
Yeah, but that surgery that they just performed and re-breaking it and resetting it, would that have been possible at your beginning weight of 200 plus pounds? Would it have been as easy as it was for them now?
It would have been, if I was my weight that I am now, then it would have been a lot easier. But I do have to say that my first surgeon, when he did my x-ray, he just did it from the side. But this surgeon did an x-ray looking down at my foot and found out that I had a deformity in my bone. Like, my bone did not go straight. It went out at an angle. And he was like, that's why it hasn't healed. But I do have to add this, because this surgeon he's very fit, very athletic. And I expressed to him that I was concerned about gaining weight, because I walk every day, and I don't walk to lose weight. I walk for heart health. And he said, as long as you stay eating your proteins and not eating all the carbs and all the inflammatory foods, your weight will stay consistent. Like you will not gain any weight. And I confirmed that with Dr. Berry too. And he totally said the same thing. So that gives me some relief because I'm 12 weeks in this cast, non-weight bearing.
Wow.
And it hit big. It's been scary because I don't want to gain weight.
Now, are you still working your bakery? Because that's usually standing on your feet the whole time. So you have one of those wagons that prop your leg up?
Yes, I actually have a scooter that my foot's propped on now and just wheeling around in the scooter. But it's a lot more time consuming because I can't just like turn, make circles as easily as I used to with 2 feet. But I'm still doing it. It takes about double the time now, but it's still going.
So have you extended your hours at your shop at Kristen Cups? Are your hours extended since it's taking you twice as long to cook or bake the food?
They are. Actually, I had my daughter and my dad helping me last weekend because I was like, y'all, I need some help. I can't keep, and my knee hurts from the scooter. And I was like, I need help. So they came to my rescue and helped me, but it's still going good. I'm very thankful for it.
It's amazing that you can own a bakery and be around that sugar, and yet it doesn't even bother you. I mean, it's like Superman having a kryptonite shop selling kryptonite. Like, he's okay with it. It's just
right.
It's amazing that you have that willpower. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
For being able to do that.
Yeah, just zero. It doesn't faze me at all. At all. It's just, I'm just doing it. It's just what I do.
Now, kind of pull the curtain back a little bit and share with people, like, where does that willpower come from? Like, where does that come from for you not to be tempted by all these sweets that you're constantly baking on a daily basis?
It comes from, I was so sick before and felt so bad. Like I knew I was dying. And I knew it was starting with my feet and my legs, and it was going to eventually work its way up. And after that first week, from going from literally having like 2 feet in the ground, ready to die, to starting to feel alive, I never want that feeling back again. Never want that back. And being a recovering food addict, it's just, I can't because I know one bite will make me want to have more, and I won't be able to stop. Even artificial sweeteners, people say, oh, you can try stevia. And I'm like, nope. Because I know from past experiences, before I even started having stuff like that, or even a Diet Coke, my blood sugar would rise and I would not feel good. So that drive comes from never wanting to go back there again, never feeling that bad. I just want to continue to feel alive.
Well, thanks for sharing that, because, most people don't really look at food as a drug. And, you're saying that you were a food addict. And I think the majority of people walking around in America today are sugar addicts. Mm-hmm. And I don't even think they realize that that's a real thing. And so they don't realize they have an addiction that they really need help in breaking. And so thanks for sharing that, because I think there's so many people out there who believe there's no hope, that there's just no way they can give up the sugar. There's no way they can do that. And yet, I think we need to start having those open conversations where people can realize that food's just as much as an addiction as drugs or alcohol.
Right.
I know, Brian, you've faced your addictions and you've come through it, but, you're like the same thing. You're a rock and roller who plays in venues where alcohol is plenty, but yet you're not tempted by it anymore. So what's the driving force behind you? Is it the same as Kristen? Can you relate to her?
Yes, exactly. I relate 100%. I mean, I've got, addiction for me applies for everything in my life. So, I gave up the drugs and alcohol, and then I had to deal with the sugar because it sort of just took the place of it after that. And it's the same thing with I can be around, take, for example, the Rhino Bucket guys. I've been around them this week. They've been here. We've been rehearsing and stuff. and they're drinking their beers and stuff, and yeah, I'm not. People think that they ask me quite often, isn't that tempting? How do you do that? And it's like, just like Kristen, it's like I see it and I go, oh man, thank God I don't have to do that anymore. It's like, because I remember, I know what it will do to me. It's the same thing. If I were to take a drink, I can't stop, and my life would end up ruined. It might take a little while or something, but I don't know. It could happen overnight. I could stretch it out over a few months, but I know it would go back to the disaster that it used to be. So,
a great analogy is this, you guys have climbed the mountain. You guys are on top of the mountain and it's covered in ice, and you do not want to take one step down, because one step down could cause your feet to lose footing, and you slide all the way back down to the bottom when you've worked so hard to get yourself back up to the top of the mountain. And for you to have that wisdom internally to know that I'm not taking a step off of where I'm at right now, because if I take a step, I very well could end up way back down there again. And I do not want to have to go through that struggle again.
Right. And, you might not recover the second time,
No. And so, if you guys are watching this show tonight and you're hearing the testimony of Kristen and Brian, and you've been fighting addictions, start taking time out and ask yourself why. Why do you say that I can't get off sugar? Who is saying I can't get off sugar? And what do you want your life to look like? I'm not necessarily saying, some people have a high metabolism rate, and they're able to process sugar and it doesn't affect them. But that's like the needle in the haystack situation. That's very rare. The majority of people are going to experience the same benefits as Kristen and Brian and myself have felt once you eliminate sugar from your everyday diet. You'll start to realize you're not addicted to it, and it'll start taking you further up that mountain. And the higher you get on that mountain, you'll notice better the views, and the better that you feel. And you'll start just wanting to climb that mountain, as opposed to, I'm okay. I'm okay with waddling down here in the mud and in the valley. But soon you'll get tired of that landscape and being in that place, and you'll start to want to know how to climb that mountain. What are the keys to climbing that mountain? And the first key is just letting go of the addiction that's keeping you in the valley.
Well, the thing is, too, you were talking about some people are able to metabolize the sugar easier. It's almost like eventually it's going to catch up, though. It's so unhealthy. I mean, you're just slowly poisoning yourself over time. So, and like you said, people don't even know that they're addicted to it. They just think it's so normal here in well, everywhere. It's just so normal to have sugar in everything that people don't even think it's not normal.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the other part of the equation is it's really hard for you to even be able to, like, if you just went to a grocery store or Walmart or Harris Teeter or Giant or Kroger's or any of them, to pick up a food item on the shelf that does not have sugar in some form or fashion in that product. And so even when you think you're doing good, you're not doing good, more than likely, and that's the thing that I think we have to be aware of now, is a lot of these products that they're marketing on the shelf now, these keto bombs and keto products that, they're using the bait of you being addicted to cupcakes or cookies or whatever, or ice cream, for you to buy their simple keto friendly product. But the reality of it is it's not so keto friendly. It's right. A great marketing scheme. And then Brian, you say this all the time, and I'm hearing myself as I'm saying this, you may have a high metabolism rate and able to burn that sugar off, but the damage that's being done by the inflammation that's still in your body is going to definitely catch up to you, and you're going to pay a price with that. So you may be able to keep the weight down, but your inflammation inside of you eventually, especially your gut health, is going to pay a price we're finding out through education that if your gut health is not healthy, diseases will follow. and you will start to have issues. And so why not just put yourself in the best possible position you can and eliminate the poisons that big pharma or the grocery stores, the food manufacturers are trying to sell you in the name of health. And you can just go through the long list of stuff that all these different tests, and we talk about this all the time, like oatmeal is another thing that the majority of Americans believe is heart healthy for you, and yet it's not. Vegetable oils or seed oils, oh, that's healthy for you, it's better than baking grease. The things that are truly healthy for us, that are pure, like bacon grease, as Brian says, liquid gold, and just pure meat, one ingredient products, are made like eggs. They have been given such a serious rap by the food manufacturers and the medical profession. So you will go to the things that's going to cause you to need that profession. So just take some time out of your life. I don't care where you are in your life, but take some time out and just ask yourself some serious questions, like, why am I addicted to sugar, and what can I do about it? And just get along with somebody. Now, for Kristen, Dr. Berry was a huge influence, correct?
Yes. Like he was when I started going towards carnivore, I found him. I think I stumbled upon him on Facebook or something, and he's amazing. And for those that don't know, that he's from Nashville. He used to be a practicing physician and was overweight, and was telling everybody, oh, this is the diet that you need to eat. He was teaching everybody the standard American diet and all the wrong foods. And now he knows the error in his ways, and he's made it his mission in life to educate people the right foods to eat. And he has
I don't know.
Yes.
I just could never see, they won't even let me show you the book.
Yes, it's a good book. He's on Facebook, he's on YouTube, and I'm part of his Patreon group. I pay a small fee a month, and I was actually talking with him this morning through Messenger, and I had a couple of questions about light, like blue light therapy and that kind of stuff. Like, if you join his Patreon group, it's more intimate. Like, you have like one-on-one Zoom calls and messages, but he is so informative. Like, he shares all the information that he has, and he just wants to make us healthy and to have us spread the word about what you can do to be healthy. And something recently that like really opened my eyes is you were talking about like making it our mission to do the right thing and with our family and stuff. Baby food. Oh my goodness. I just looked at ingredients and jars of baby food. The second ingredient in most jars of like peas or sweet potatoes is added sugar and corn syrup.
Oh.
I was floored, and knowing what that's causing to those babies eating it, it's making that addiction. It's starting that addiction. Whereas like Dr. Berry and Dr. Siwas, their kids are both nearly 99% carnivore. That they can still thrive and survive eating mostly meat and a few berries and nuts and stuff, but they thrive on the carnivore life.
What did Dr. Berry, especially in light of our show that we did last week, what did Dr. Berry have to say about blue light therapy? I'm interested to see what he says.
Well,
about it.
I have been like my air supply is like listening to podcasts like y'all or like Judy Cho, all of these people just constantly listening. And I've been hearing a lot about blue light and the dangers, which I think a lot of us are aware about. But there's been a couple of doctors saying that you need to get the first morning light, the evening light, get rid of all your LED lights and use the old-fashioned bulbs. Just it's better for us, and get yellow blue light blocker glasses, not like what I have, because evidently what I have doesn't do anything. Dr. Berry said that morning sunlight is great. Evening sunlight is good. Like, try not to be and like staring at your screen before you go to bed. But he said it is not necessary to stay outside and get 99% of the sunshine every day, which is what I had been interpreting. I'm like, oh, we got to go outside. We got to spend all day outside. And which is, I know, is good for us. Like, you're more active when you're outside. But he said, no, you don't need that. You just need the morning and the evening. It helps with the circadian rhythm. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Circadian rhythm. So yeah, he helped me a lot with that, because I'm like, oh gosh, what do I do? What do I do? This is something else I'm gonna have to research. But he said, no, you don't have to be outside all the time. Just watch morning and evening and you'll be good.
So 30 to 60 minutes a day outside, it's probably enough for people to recharge themselves.
Time, and then also evening. But Dr. Berry and these other doctors say evening time, like seeing the sunrise and sunset is good. Very, very good for us.
Well, at least I got that going for me. I definitely do that on a daily basis. I love watching the sun come up, and I love watching the sun set. So
me too. You got the lake out there. Take your boat out there and just enjoy it even more.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm going boating on Monday. I got a trip planned. So absolutely. So Kristen, what really caused you? I mean, when did you open your bakery? I guess I want to ask. Was that before you decided to go down this keto carnivore journey?
No, it was when COVID started.
Oh.
And I've always been a baker, come from a family of chefs, and I've always loved to bake, but I was just doing stuff, and I posted a few pictures on Facebook, and people went nuts and started ordering. And then I got hooked up with a coffee shop in Coleman, and a yogurt shop, and started doing like 500 for her every week. And it just progressed. There was something that I could do to keep myself busy. But I've always been a baker. I've always would like make cakes from time to time for people, but never like this. Never like this. So December will be like a year that it's gone full throttle. So I was already eating well before I started.
Gotcha. So was it hard for you to then open up a bakery and do this when I take it you're not tasting the foods? So you have like professional tasters that are there with you? So
yeah, do have tasters, but also it's in my blood. It's in my blood because everybody in the family, and I can tell by smell if it's not right, if that makes sense. I can just, oh no, this is not right. And then I'll call my taster and say, hey, I need help. This doesn't smell right. And then I'll just like throw it away if it's not up to par, or I'll like give it to somebody or something. But I just know. It's crazy. I know it doesn't make sense to most people, but I just know.
Well, that's all that matters, and obviously people are coming back, so they must trust you to know.
Right.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, I just love it. I love it so much.
Now, when you go out to eat, what kind of restaurants do you go out to eat, Kristen? Where do you like to go? What's one of your favorite restaurants to go to there in Alabama? Or do you prefer to stay home and just cook your own food?
It's easier to do that. Like, we have a wing place down the road. I'll go get wings. Like today, I'm meeting my niece for her birthday, and we're going to Baumhauer's, and I'll get some wings. Like, yes, it's cooked in vegetable oil, but from time to time, I'll do that. Or I'll get a ground beef patty with some eggs on it, and which I actually might do that today.
Now, do you do intermittent fasting too? I can't remember if we covered that last time or not. I
do. I just do one meal a day because it's just easier. It's easier because I just cooking all the meat. It does take a little bit of time, but the air fryer makes it so much easier. But it's faster. It's easier for me. And I eat until I'm comfortably stuffed. And then I'm done until the next day. and rarely get hungry until my next meal. I eat typically between like 12 and 1.
Yeah, that's 12 and 2 is usually when Peggy and I we eat one meal a day. It's usually between 12 and 4, mostly closer to the 1 o'clock time
Right.
frame.
Now,
So
why do y'all eat once a day? Just easier, or
it just works out. I mean, the reality of it is once you get your body off of the sugar, you're really not craving food as much as
right? Yeah.
you feel full. When you're eating dense nutritional food like steaks, especially steaks. I mean, you eat a big steak and some eggs. I'm not hungry till the next day. I mean, I'm not, and then before I've shared this many times, back when I bought into the breakfast is the most important day and lunch and dinner, and then 5 to 7 small meals is best for you to help be healthy. I'd wake up in the morning and the first thing I'd do, because I've always loved the smell of bacon. I mean, who doesn't like the smell of bacon?
Right.
So I get up first thing in the morning at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and I start grilling, have bacon and eggs, and of course I had grits and pancakes and sausage, and I'd have a big breakfast, and then of course 2 hours later, or at least by 10 o'clock, I'm ready to have another snack, and then at noon I'm ready to have lunch, and then of course I'm having a mid-afternoon snack, and then of course I have dinner, and then of course I gotta have the bowl of ice cream to watch my TV shows at 9 o'clock at night, and I've done nothing but just pack my body with carbs and sugar. And so, I wake up the first thing in the morning, I got to go grab food. And so when you are able to get away from that lifestyle, it's amazing. You just wake up and you can actually think about what you're going to do for the day. I mean, you can think about what you're going to have later on. And Peggy usually goes, like she says this morning, she goes, "Hey, what are you going to fix for us this afternoon?" I haven't thought about it yet. I said, "Well, I'll think of something." But it's way different. Instead of food ruling my thoughts throughout the whole day, like I can't do that. I get a chance to have a day, and I get a chance to choose what food I want to eat when I want to eat it, not because I'm like I got to get it or else I'm going to die.
Right. Isn't that crazy that we used to think that way? Oh my gosh, it's almost 9 o'clock. I haven't had breakfast yet.
All the time. I think about that all the time. It's just like, I can't believe I was such an addict. And I didn't even know I was such an addict, because, you come across those studies that say, oh, you're supposed to eat 5 to 7 small meals a day. That's healthy for you. So your body can process it in small, not overdo it. And the reality of it is you're never giving your body a chance to recover from all the food you're putting in and all the work you're making it do.
Right.
Yeah.
But, Brian, you got any questions for Kristen that you can think of that haven't been addressed yet?
Wow. No, it's just well, the bakery thing. It's the same. It's weird because I guess it's not. I guess it would be the same, but just the smell of it too. Like, what's weird? I mean, I feel the same way as you do, Kristen. When it comes to sweets and all that junk, I can go through the bakery at the supermarket, and I'm not tempted to buy anything, but sometimes I like to look at it.
Yes, yeah.
And if I smell like, it's weird because I like, out of all those foods, it's weird how the smell can even grab you, without even putting it in your mouth. Like donuts, I don't know what it is about donuts. The smell of donuts. It's just like, I know I don't want it, but that smell, it's almost like that one of those Fred Flintstone cartoons floating through the air, and the fumes from the food following it. It's kind of, it's weird. But it's amazing that you can. I mean, I can relate though. I'm saying it's amazing you can bake all that stuff and not be tempted. But But then again, I totally understand how you're not.
Right. It's just, I love doing it, and I know that like I created something, and I love the smell of it. I love the smell of it. And I love that, like when I open up the door, open up the oven door, the fumes get all on me and I can still smell it on my clothes, but zero desire.
Well, that might be, just the pleasure of smelling it might be enough,
Right. Yes, totally. I was thinking about like the foods that we used to eat and everything. Do y'all ever get to the point where like pancakes? I used to love to eat pancakes, syrup and butter, but afterwards I would feel like I would have that big carb crash. Like I would have to take a nap because I felt so bad. And now I'm at the point, like I'll drive by IHOP and I get nauseated. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking those people eating that stuff are going to feel so bad afterwards. And just remembering how I felt brings back so many like weird memories. Do y'all ever experience that?
Absolutely.
Well, that's actually a helpful tool is to sort of like in like AA we say play the tape through. Like if you're tempted, just take that tape and remember what the process that used to happen when you used to do that. And that's exactly what you're saying there.
Right.
And that's a real helpful tool to keep you, that just brings it back, and if you eat that, this is how you're going to feel, and the whole thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a bad feeling for sure.
Yeah.
You talk about that, Kristen. I can remember we would go to IHOP, and especially they have their month where they have the all-you-can-eat pancakes, and we would go there and just eat pancakes, stack after stack after stack, and I couldn't even walk out of that place. And I'm so bloated, and I'm miserable. Like that's what really, I think about it today, and I just remember how miserable I was after feeding that addiction. Like, why would I want to feel that way? Like, that's the thing. Like Brian, I didn't know I was doing it, but then I do play the tape forward these days. I go, man, why do I know if I do that, I'm going to feel that same way, but why would I want to go feel that way when right now I feel great? Like I feel awesome. I feel light on my feet. I wanted to go do stuff. But when you come back from all you can eat pancake, you're like in this sugar coma, you're bloated, you lay on the couch, and what do? You just lay there because your body's taking all its energy just to process all the crap that you just put in it. And then all of a sudden, the bad part of it is 2 hours later, you're starving again, but you're still bloated, and you're like, oh, and you start eating food just to quench that addiction while you're stuffed. And so you're just getting stuffer and stuffer. So it's a real issue. It was a real issue for me. And thank goodness, I've come to the point where I play it out and see that, and I don't want to go back there. I don't want to. I mean, and you asked the question. Yes, I do get like nauseous, and I feel sick. There's actually, a nausea that comes into my stomach when I sit there and think about what I used to do. And so that's why, I could go to an IHOP now and sit down, and I do that with friends who want to go. I don't care where you want to go eat. I just know I'm not going to eat what you're going to eat. I know what I'm going to eat. So I can sit there with you, and I can watch you eat all that stuff. And I'm inside of me, I'm internalizing it by going, man, I know they're going to feel terrible afterwards. I feel so sorry for them that they're an addict, but I was an addict too.
Right.
But they don't know what they don't know until they get off that sugar.
Yeah, exactly. Sugar's a beast. It is a beast.
My favorite donut, which it's a little shop that's been down at Carolina Beach on the boardwalk for 70, they're close to 80 years now, called Britts Donuts. They've been voted the best donut, the second best donut in the country. Wow. I think it's probably the best donut in the country, but they have a secret recipe. They make them hot and fresh. You go there, you pay cash, they give them to you on a stick. They put them in your box or bag, I should say, not a box. They put them in a bag. They make one type of donut. And I'm telling you, I mean, I go there now and smell it. I'm even talking about it. It's bringing all that smell back to me, but I can't have them anymore. And, 3 years ago, I'd say, I'm on vacation. I'll have one. Of course, one turned into four. Right. And then I felt just like I'd been at an IHOP eating all that, all you can eat pancakes.
Right.
And I feel bad today because even my family my daughter and grandson, and they love Britts too now. So they drive down to Carolina Beach just to get Britts Donuts. That's where they love to go. And I understand it, but I can go there and I just watch other people partake in a Britts donut. But, I love the smell, but if I play the tape out, as Brian is now got in my head, I know how I would feel afterwards. And so it's only for like those few seconds that I'm tasting that flavor and that hot donut in my mouth that's bringing me pleasure, because 5 minutes afterwards, I'm feeling bloated and sluggish and I don't feel like doing anything anymore.
Yep, 100%.
So
yeah, it's all about chasing those endorphins.
Yeah, it's amazing that we just, but go to any mall or go to a Walmart and just sit in the parking lot or sit out front of the bench and just watch the people who shop there and what they're buying. And it's amazing to me how obesity seems to be so prevalent and growing as a society. Yet we're supposed to have all, this technology and modern medicine and know the right thing to do. And yet, we see cancer just growing and growing. And it doesn't have to be that way. And, you talk about as a kid, you start that, you want to know where that addiction begins. Well, they start with giving you the baby formula, the baby foods has got sugar. And then you go see a dentist and the dentist rewards you with candy afterwards with sugar. At least they used to. I don't know if they still do that anymore. I don't even go to them anymore. So, you become acclimated and then you become addicted. And then, you go through this, the school and they serve you food that's got carbs and sugar in it. And then it's a part of life. It's what everybody does. And so to break that cycle really does take a lot of willpower. So, when I hear stories like Kristen's or Brian, you gonna say something, Brian?
Oh, I said, and then you got the TV commercials pounding it into your head.
Yeah. And the TV commercials is all about food, about medicine, or about attorneys who what's that, Brian?
The sugar and then the pills to help you with diabetes afterwards.
And then the Cancer Society for you to donate to cure what we've given you, so we can find a cure. Well, the cure is just don't give us the drugs from the beginning. Don't give us the food that that feeds the cancer.
Yeah.
So anyway,
one thing I wanted to add was Dr. Berry had posted that thing earlier this week about the hidden sugars in food, and at the end of his video, he showed that list of all the names that they use to hide sugar in food. And that's the other thing most people don't even realize. The Rhino Bucket guys, I cooked a bunch of steaks the other night for everybody, and they bought some of their own stuff that they wanted from the store, and one of the things was some salad dressing, and they just grabbed it off the shelf and they left it in my refrigerator, and I was just curious. And the label, of course, it makes it look like it's some healthy kind. And I look at the back of it, and it had not only sugar, but it had that carrageenan or whatever that is, that chemical they use to keep it the ingredient
suspended.
Highly inflammable ingredient. That was listed twice. Then they had all those like the fruit stuff in there that they use that's sugar, like pineapple juice and all this stuff that they add in there to just, so you're thinking there's no sugar in this, but there is. It's all over the place in that label. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is. It's amazing what they can put in the ingredients and like market it to like, oh, you're doing so good, you're being so healthy. But yet there's like 10 grams of sugar in a tablespoon.
Well,
something ridiculous.
Yeah, and then Dr. Berry pointed out the natural flavors. That's where they hide all kinds of stuff. And then they don't have to list it on the actual nutrition label because it's just considered a natural flavoring.
Right. I want something interesting on the nutrition label. I went to a wing restaurant here and I was like, what? It's like a chain place. I said, what? Like seasonings do you have that do not contain sugar? And they were looking on the label, and their lemon pepper seasonings had on the nutrition label 0 sugar. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I'll go for that. And I took one bite and I knew there was sugar in it. And I did not, I went up and I said, there's sugar in here. And the ingredients were not listed on the bag, just on the label. So the manager went and got the box. Second ingredient was sugar. Like it was pepper, sugar. But because the percentage of the sugar was so low, it did not have to be listed at all.
Yeah,
and
that's
no idea.
That's why that nutrition facts little box is pretty much useless. I don't even look at that. And
Right.
a lot of people fall for that. They just look at the carbs and the sugar and they think they're good, but it's, you have to see what's
Mhm.
to really know.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's like buying pork rinds. If you don't just see fried pork or fried pork skins and sea salt, that those two ingredients you can have, but there's most of the pork rinds you just pull off the shelf. Man, that list is long. I mean, they got all kinds of different chemicals in that.
The flavored ones, anyway.
Yeah, like
Right.
the barbecue or salt and vinegar or pepper and vinegar or whatever they come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always go for the original, like no flavors.
Yeah. I know that Utz brand is UTZ is fried in its own tallow or in its own fat. I do know that.
I think most of them are, but I've actually called the company and asked, and they'll go, yeah, they'll tell me. But it's funny because I've stumbled across, like, in the health section, healthier versions of pork rinds that are fried in canola oil. It's like, just what? Like, why would you take something healthy and ruin it? So.
Mhm.
Well, that's true. You go into the nut section of a grocery store and just pick up nuts, and most of the nuts are coated in canola oil or some type of seed oil. I mean,
soybean oil. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like they can't even leave that alone. And you have to ask yourself question, why? And the question is because it's going to make you an addict to that food group.
Yeah.
Right.
So putting it in.
Yep, you're just going to put it in. It's no different. I just saw a commercial the other night. Peggy and I was watching a TV show, and a commercial came on that I don't know which food or gross or not food, what restaurant chain, but they're saying, when you order your meal for $1 more, you can get double battered fried shrimp for just $1. 12 double battered fried shrimp for $1. And I said, that sounds, I mean, my old self would have said, oh man, that's great, we got to go there. But the reality of it is, why do you think they're selling those 12 double battered shrimp? They're not selling you 12 pill and eat shrimp. They're selling you 12 double battered shrimp because it's going to cause you to want to drink and eat more. It's going to cause you to want to have a dessert because it's going to create that in you. And so it may be $1 here, but you're going to pay for it both down the road and at the table because you're going to order some more food or more drinks. And so your overall bill is going to be more expensive, not to mean that your health is also going to be impacted.
Right.
So, all right. Is that time of the evening where we get a chance to check in with Mr. Brian Shanker of the MeatTribe YouTube channel. So welcome back, Brian. And what meat deals of the week do you have for us today?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it. So we've got, looking through all the deals this week, there's not that much going on, surprisingly. I don't know if the stores think that just because it's starting to get cold that people don't want to grill out or have a good steak, but I do. I know you guys do too. But we'll start off. So Food Lion's got some choice grade boneless chuck roasts at $3.99 a pound. So I think those have been running around $4.99 and $5.99 a pound at some places recently. So it's good to see that come down a little bit. Next up, Food Lion's also got some whole Boston butt for 99 cents a pound. I don't think we've seen it that low yet, but that's a pretty good deal. And then the last deal at Food Lion, and all the Food Lion deals run through the 19th of October. They've got some choice grade boneless sirloin steaks for $7.99 a pound. Next up, Harris Teeter not that much going on there either. Their deals run through the 19th. They've got their rancher grade bone-in T-bone and porterhouse steaks. The small pack, just like last week, is $8.49 a pound, and the value pack is $7.99 a pound. The only other thing that they had there that I thought was kind of interesting was they've got a package, one steak inside of it, I think. It's a boneless High Plains bison strip for $13.99 a pound. So I'm still probably not going to go and grab that one of those. I don't know. I've never had bison. I think you guys, one of you had bison before, right?
Yeah. I've had the bison strip from Aldi's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had like ground bison, but I've not had a steak.
And I would think it's a much leaner cut of meat, correct?
I would
Much
have
leaner.
Yeah. I'll stick to the ribeyes for now. And then, so next up, sorry, my ring doorbell alerts keep coming up. Brian, down at Kroger, they've only got one deal this week. It runs through the 19th. They've got some choice grade bone-in T-bone steaks for $7.99 a pound.
Ooh,
but the bonus for that is you get double fuel points on that item. I don't know if you collect the fuel points and go take advantage of those.
I do get my gas there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, they've got a bunch of stuff that have double the fuel points this week. So make sure you stock up. Although you just mentioned you're going out of town again. So I don't think you might not be going out to the grocery store before you leave. And then finally, we've got 4 deals from Giant Eagle. It's the same 4 deals that they had last week. They've got some certified Angus beef, boneless Market District sirloin tip roast or value pack steaks. That's buy one, get one free. They've got some prime grade boneless sirloin tip roast and steaks at $5.99 a pound. And then they've got some certified Angus beef, bone-in Market District T-bone and porterhouse steaks at $9.99 a pound. And then the prime T-bone and porterhouse steaks are $16.99 a pound. So, they got a little bit of everything at Giant Eagle, something for everybody.
Wow. Now, where do you shop at, Kristen?
I typically shop at Aldi, Kroger a little bit, Walmart and Publix. We don't have that big of a selection here. And I do go to Sam's Club. And Tuesdays, Fresh Market has got incredible deals. So I'll go there to get ground beef. It's like $2.50 a pound on Tuesday. So I'll do that at Fresh Market.
Wow, that's a good price.
It is. But I did see at Sam's, y'all were talking about bison. The bison at Sam's Club is cheaper than the ground beef.
Oh, wow.
That's
unusual. It was unreal. $2.50 a pound because I thought it was ground beef, but then I looked, I was like, oh, it's bison. But the ground beef was $4.50 a pound.
Wow, that's very unusual.
Price difference. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Well,
right.
So your ground beef down there at your Sam's is more expensive than ours. Ours, I think, regular ground beef is around $3.50 a pound up here.
Wow.
Interesting. Anyway, that's all the deals I have for you guys today.
All right. Well, we appreciate those deals. And, if you guys want to see more deals throughout the week, make sure you go to Brian Shanker's MeatTribe YouTube channel. You can find it on YouTube, just like it's spelled behind him, MeatTribe. And he'll be able to give you other deals throughout the week, or you can be a participant and share deals in your area with different stores that could benefit other people. So thanks, Brian. Have a great week. We'll see you next Friday.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Well, Kristen, we're not going to take your whole day up because we know you got to go make those goodies for the people who come into your store. But what's your favorite food? Leave everybody with what's your favorite food that you love to cook for yourself. You can anything it is. You can cook anything you want. What's the one meal that Kristen's going to make for herself?
Oh my gosh, chicken wings.
Chicken wings is your number one, huh?
Yeah. Because I like the crunch. I like them, like the ends to be crunchy, and I'm a big used to like chips and salsa. I love the hand to mouth action, and I like that with wings. And also pork belly is a close second.
Oh, I love that too.
Now, how do you make your pork belly? How do you make your pork belly, Kristen?
In the air fryer, just a little bit of salt. That's it. And I did see somebody post the other day, I can't remember where, but she does her strips. She gets like the Costco strips and just cuts them in half where I cube them. She puts the whole strip in the air fryer, or the half strips in the air fryer. And then 400 degrees for 20 minutes. And it's like a big fat pork belly stick. And she dips it in raw egg yolk.
Oh,
and
wow.
she said, that is so good. I was like, ooh, I'm going to have to try that. Because who doesn't love bacon and eggs?
No, that sounds great.
Yes, it does.
So so once you dip it, how long do you cook it back in the air fryer?
No, you dip it like it's like cooked, and you just like dip it in the egg yolk and then eat it.
Like a dip.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
like,
okay.
Awesome.
Wow. All right.
Yes, that's really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that as well. Well, Kristen, thank you so much. Good luck with your doctor's appointment today on Friday, and hopefully you get a good report, and keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully we'll have you back on the show at a later time to give us an update of how things are going for you.
Oh, absolutely. I loved it. Thank you both so very much. I appreciate y'all.
All right. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Have a great week, Kristen.
Thanks.
Bye. All right. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was very interesting, Brian. What'd you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember last time she was on. I mean, I love like baked goods. I love baking. I love I love everything about food.
Yeah. It's amazing. I made something yesterday for Peggy and I, and she's like, and in my mind, I was creating this food because I'm still going to open up Keto Cafe with low carb bar, and I still got all these recipes that I want to just expose people to, that so they can realize that you can eat the keto carnivore lifestyle and you don't have to sacrifice taste. Like, there's amazing foods that you can enjoy, that like you're going to want those. And I threw together some food. I go, man, I was in the mood for an egg scramble. So I put a bunch of eggs. I had heavy whipping cream, mixed that up, add salt and pepper. And then I did, I'm telling the secret of my secret eggs now. I put Old Bay seasoning in it. And then we've been making Peggy's been making every week a big old bowl of homemade pimento cheese. So we know it's got 0 carbs in it. So we put pimento cheese. I put pimento cheese in the eggs, and I stirred it all up. And with that Old Bay seasoning and that pimento cheese in that egg, I'm telling you, it was a home run. So I gave it to Peggy. She's like, first bite, she's like, this is amazing. What is this? I said, I can't tell you. But I told her, and I said, yeah, that's going to be on the recipe. But I can't wait to do that again, but add blue crab meat into that. Oh my gosh, that's going to be delicious.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you when it comes to just being in the kitchen, and Peggy's got such a nose for cooking, is way better cook than I am. But I love, when I take my time, I'm really good, but most of the time I'm always seem to be in a hurry, so doesn't help with that. So, well, you ready for your busy weekend, Brian?
Sorta. It's been a busy week.
How's Jimmy doing? Just to give everybody an update, have you spoken to him?
I haven't spoken directly, but through text and stuff. He says he feels better every day. So
that's good. Really good. Good to hear. Well, if someone has watched our show and made it this far, and what bit of advice would you tell them to put them in the best possible light to be healthy?
Eat your meat.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us. Yes, you can see that loud and bright. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend. Brian, you guys have a great weekend of shows, and we will see you next Friday, everybody. Take care. Stay well, stay safe, and stay out of that hospital.